Okay, today I'm going to talk about how to graph a parabola and a quadratic equation, which is a parabola on Math Excel. So I chose a question on Math Excel that has a table with it, and we're going to go ahead and fill in the table and graph this question. So let's start off first. If you look, it tells you in the table you need the vertex in the middle of the table. So I'm going to draw a little arrow, so my vertex needs to go right here. If you remember, the x-coordinate of the vertex can be found by using the formula x equals negative b over 2a. So the question is, what is my a, b, and c in the parabola? If you remember, your a is always the number in front of x squared, so in this case, your a is going to be negative 6. B is always the number in front of x, so in this case it would be negative 12. And c is always the number at the end by itself, which in this case is also negative 12. So when I fill in the numbers to get my x-coordinate, x is negative b over 2a. If b is negative 12, negative b would be positive 12. And 2 times a, 2 times negative 6, is negative 12. So therefore, your x-coordinate of the vertex is 12 divided by negative 12, which is negative 1. So what I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and fill in negative 1, for my x-coordinate. What this allows me to also do is fill in my other x-coordinates all the way up and down the table. So if I count by whole numbers, having the top one smaller, and the bottom one's greater, by one whole number, then that's what I would have for my x-coordinates. Okay, now I need to find the y-coordinates. So if you remember, to find the y-coordinates, you're going to fill in all the x values of the graph. And your calculator, you're going to plug them in and go ahead and find the y-coordinates that go with them. So it tells you in the graph y equals negative 6x squared minus 12x minus 12. So in those parentheses that I have blank, I'm going to go ahead and fill in each x-coordinate in my calculator and get a y answer. So for instance, my first one up here tells me to fill in negative 3 for x. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in negative 3 for x. I'm going to go ahead and get an answer for it once I do that. So let me go ahead and do that. Once I filled in negative 3, like I did in the equation, I end up getting an answer of negative 30 from my calculator. So I'll go ahead and type in negative 30. When I filled in negative 2, where that spot is, let me just change it in blue. So when I put in a negative 2 in that spot, I ended up getting negative 12 as an answer. And if I go through and fill in negative 1, I get negative 6. When I fill in 0, I end up getting negative 12. And when I fill in 1, I end up getting negative 30. So notice on the table, here's my vertex, right here. Notice how the other y answers repeat, and that should make sense because it has to create a u. All parabolas create a u. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and graph this. And this is the part a lot of people don't know. So I'm going to click over to my graph. Erase a little bit of this for you. On my graph, this is a parabola, so I'm going to choose the u. What you have to do first is you have to plot the vertex. So my vertex is negative 1, negative 6. Notice how it says that coordinate right here, so I can match it up and make sure I'm right. Notice how if I move that, it goes to something else. So negative 1, negative 6. I'm going to put a dot on it. Then I can choose any other point, that's in my table. Doesn't matter which one it is. I want one that's on there. So I'll just do the one right below it. I'll use 0, negative 12. Which happens to also be the y-intercept, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to also put 0, negative 12. Okay, click on it, and then hit check answer all the way at the bottom, and I got it right. And that's how you graph a quadratic equation on Math Excel.